Thank you very much. So many people, some friendly faces in the crowd. So today I'm going to talk briefly about how at the Children's Society we are changing our charity fundraising model forever. It's an ongoing process which we have not yet concluded, an exciting time for us. So, in 1881, a young Sunday school teacher named Edward Rudolph was appalled by the poverty affecting the lives of children that lived in his parish, and he reached out in his community to do something about it, and thus began the Children's Society. 135 years later, the concept of a community taking action together to achieve positive change for children is still fundamentally at our core. So each year at the Children's Society, over 1 million committed volunteers, donors, supporters, campaigners and people in their communities join forces with the Children's Society professional staff. Those people are absolutely the Children's Society. They've done it for decades and they'll continue to do so because they want to stop children facing terrible things in their daily lives. Like other charities, we watched with great sadness as the events of 2015 unfolded after the death of Olive Cook and subsequent media coverage of poor practice in the sector. As the spotlight swung sharply onto the fundraising practices of charities in the UK, we paused for thought. The sector was found wanting. The reasons for this are multiple and complex, and certainly not something I'm going to discuss on this platform today. However, we'd never stopped valuing our supporters, but we asked ourselves if we were behaving in a way that genuinely demonstrated that to those supporters. So at the Children's Society, we've been raising money for children through building relationships for over 130 years. But we asked ourselves if the experience of getting involved with the Children's Society was as positive and as inspiring as we believed it should be. We also know that we can fix this situation by taking firm, principled and positive actions, and people still fundamentally want to support building a better world and community through engaging with charities. We have to absolutely listen and adapt to them more and build better internal systems that allow us to do this. We quickly came to the conclusion that the old model of fundraising was fundamentally broken, and we wanted to embrace the new world as quickly as possible and move on. We recognised that somewhere organisations had become complacent about income donated by people, and that we were taking donors for granted in the pursuit of much-needed funds to support beneficiaries. We decided that we had to change our business model and do it quickly. So we're moving away from product-led fundraising to true supporter engagement, with the experience of supporters paramount in all of our key decision-making. We're absolutely not there yet, and it's hard work, and we don't yet have all of the answers. So some actions that we have taken since 2015. We reduced our investment in recruitment channels with high cancellation rates, so particularly street fundraising, door-to-door and telephone campaigns. We've created a change programme, which has got 4 work streams, 18 priority change projects that are live, that will catapult us into a supporter-led future. We've committed to using different set of metrics to measure our performance. So out is shorter-term product-focused ROI, response rate and net present value. And yes to supporter satisfaction, lifetime value, percentage of opt-ins by channel, and creating a loyalty index. Our lifetime value takes into account non-financial actions as well as financial actions to include campaigning, volunteering, and networked contributions. So we're considering the total value of our supporters' engagement. We know that if we only use metrics that focus on short-term returns on a campaign-by-campaign basis, then that will focus the way that our supporter engagement staff behave. So, longer-term measures of success will focus staff on building better relationships with supporters. We've reduced the number of solicitation communications, so with sole direct financial asks, and increased the number of engagement communications that have no direct ask to supporters. We're using the non-ask communications to find out and understand more about our supporters, to thank them and recognise their contributions, and offer more feedback to them on impact. We're also greatly increasing our investment and focus on innovation and insight so that we understand supporters' lives better and how they can support children through what they do in their day-to-day lives. We've increased the amount of call listening that we conduct with our telephone agency. We're seeking to increase non-financial engagements with the organisation to build supporter trust, commitment and satisfaction. And we became full members of the Direct Marketing Association and immediately internally audited and externally the activities of the supporter-facing teams against the IOF codes of practice. So there are risks inherent in this new model. There are limited charity cases that prove greater supporter engagement directly and definitively increases income in the short and medium term. We have a financial model that suggests it will, but we've taken effectively a leap of faith and we're doing all we can to make it a reality. If ultimately that leap of faith does not succeed, then we will not have succeeded in our model. So moving from a business model that delivers short-term returns to one that may take longer to deliver results, there's a danger that we lose patience if we can't see immediate results. However, we have a commitment at CEO, trustee and senior leadership level to this new engagement model. We're absolutely committed to every single interaction with the Children's Society to make it an enjoyable one. We know that we won't always get that right. So things like systems failure will get in the way. But when we don't get it right, we have a commitment to listen, adapt and learn. So far, we've had a number of staff discussions around why we wanted to take this approach, when in the short term, it could mean that we have less money to fund our work with children and young people. It's a difficult conversation to have with your colleagues in a time where funding from all sources, we all know this, is being squeezed. What we've done is to paint a picture of a richer future with more engaged supporters who fully and deeply understand our work and support us in a variety of different ways throughout their lives. And in turn, that will create better opportunities for young people. There are risks, as I said, inherent in this approach, but it is not something we see as an optional decision. It's absolutely something we have to do. We're confident in 5 years' time, when we have supporters who positively opted into hearing from us, who have the right communications from us at the frequency they will want, they'll need to be more involved and engaged in our work. And that can only be a good thing for the children that we work for. As I said, there's a leap of faith in this. We can't know that deeper and richer engagement focused on long-term relationships over short-term transactions will grow our income. But everything about our values, philosophy and approach to achieving social change gives us confidence that's the right direction for us to take. Of course, we absolutely have to perform well against these planned approaches and hold firm to the supporter engagement principles that are now entrenched in our strategy. We will not retreat into the old ways of working at the first sign of challenge. Our aim and vision is to build a dynamic movement of people who are collectively transforming the lives of vulnerable children and young people through their actions. So, the key shifts that we've made, we're looking to see the whole person and move from fundraising to supporter engagements. We are working to move beyond silos, so not just treating people as donors, but to see the whole value that they can bring to our organisation. We want to move beyond compliance against experience, so much of the regulatory debate has focused on codes and compliance, and we see that putting the whole person first and putting their supporter experience at the forefront, compliance is absolutely the baseline and one that we're committed to achieving. but the quality of that supporter experience is the key driver above and beyond sector codes. The importance of innovation is one of the key shifts, so we absolutely have to innovate around how we fundraise and engage our supporters. The wake-up call has not been one of refining or revising our business as usual methodologies, but for step change within the sector. We want to reinvigorate the joy of giving. So we know that science and personal experience tells us that the act of giving, if that's money or time, brings joy to the giver, as well as making a difference to those in need. Our new approach focuses on releasing that joy so that we can maximize the impact of our supporters for young people and maximize the positive impacts, positive experience for our supporters. And we've changed our team name away from fundraising to supporter impact and income, because that's absolutely our priority, is to connect people directly to the cause. We're also been taking a whole organisation approach. So to achieve greater supporter experience and maximum impact for our beneficiaries, absolutely everyone in the organisation must be involved. So that includes trustees, senior leadership, colleagues from every directorate from across the charity. It's not just a job for the fundraisers. We've been very lucky that the Children's Society gets this, and our new approach to supporter engagement is owned by the whole organisation, with trustees acting as proactive champions for our approach. So, we're very much still only starting on our journey to supporter-led fundraising. But if Edward Rudolph was still with us today, he'd approve. And across the Children's Society, we're extremely excited about the future. Thank you very much.